my last film, is Netflix's Pinocchio. And this film is directed by Guillermo Del Toro and Mark Gustafson. This voice cast includes Gregory Mann, who plays Pinocchio. We also get Ewan McGregor, Finn Wolfhard, Ron Perlman, David Bradley, Tilda Swinton, Kate Blanchett, and I believe there's also John Turturro has a small role in this as well.
It's not a Guillermo Del Toro film without Ron Perlman in it.
Yeah, definitely. And this tells a story. A father's wish magically brings a wooden boy to life in Italy, giving him a chance to care for the child. For the most part, I will say this, man. This thing is it's beautiful to watch, though. Like if you're looking at this thing, it's done in completely stop motion animation, and it's crazy how good that's become lately. You know, the just the techniques they're using. At times, you would think, you know, with some of this, you're watching CGI, except for you would think that, except for the way the characters are moving. You know, it still has that stop motion feel, but like the environments, the worlds, the movements, the expression, the characters is beautiful. You know, really beautiful at times. And honestly, this is the first Pinocchio film I've seen in its entirety. I never watched the Disney version. I didn't watch any of the other versions that were, you know, put out recently. And I think Disney just put out a new one a few months ago with Tom Hanks playing Geppetto, the father. Essentially, you know, we meet our character Geppetto, and he's having a good time. He's living with his son in this Italian time. But also, I think there's a war going on. I'm not sure exactly which war. Feels like World War I is kind of playing in the background. So essentially, you know, his son dies. And I don't know how to explain this, but it's like a god or, you know,
fairy godmother.
Yeah. And she essentially brings this child, this puppet to life that he's been working on, that's sitting around just to kind of help him get over his grief. Because that was crazy to watch, though. His grief, my man goes in a full-on alcoholism. Like, that's all he's doing every day. He just goes from, you know, being a guy that's full of life to just drowning his sorrows in a bottle. And but then it goes from there, man. But there are some really interesting elements in it, you know, as far as, you know, how the story's telling. But it is kind of a pretty dark story, though. Like, when you're watching how this thing plays out, it is rated PG, but I think some of the themes and stuff in this film aren't things that you know, young children would get immediately, man. This definitely seems like it's made with the adult viewer in mind. And I'm not talking about being vulgar or anything, but just some of the ideas that are raised, because it's crazy, because when this Pinocchio comes back to life, he's pretty much immortal. That's an interesting thing, because there's an accident that happens and he dies, but he comes back. You know, okay. So and the fairy godmother, we'll just call him that, essentially says, him like, yeah, you can come back, you just gotta wait till this hourglass tilts and you'll come back every time. Only caveat is each time you die is going to take longer for the hourglass to drain, you know, so it's just going to take a little bit longer each time you come back. So what's wild there, like I said, where it gets dark, like the war is going on in the background. There's a moment where he meets a general, and it's kind of funny, man, because it's a lot that's going on. I'm not going to touch on every detail of it, but essentially the general finds out that he can come back, you know, after he dies, and then he's like, whoa, you could be the best soldier ever. You know what I'm saying? So like that kind of darkness. That's what I'm talking about. Like things, and he's like, yo, yeah, you're gonna join us. Yeah, you'll be the best soldier. The world will be over in no time with someone like you. And I'm like, yo, just imagine that could just be crazy, man. If you got a group of soldiers that just can't die, but things of that nature are in this thing, man. For me, I thought it was okay. I mean, I've been seeing, you know, a lot of people calling it masterpiece and all that. I will give it that as far as what the animation is doing in here and what they've achieved with that and the look of this film. And like, it's just like really pleasing to the eyes, you know, but I think it's also, trying to serve a lot of masters where it gets kind of muddied down a little bit in the middle of it, and by the time it gets to its conclusion, you know, it kind of goes with a whimper, you know what I'm saying, instead of this really high triumphant moment that we should feel. But I will encourage people to watch it, man. Like I said, this thing, it looks beautiful. It's a triumph of, you know, this kind of animation, but at the same time, I've seen two other animated films that I definitely enjoyed a lot more than this one, you know. You know, despite all the technical, you know, and the artistic, you know, stuff that went into, you know, bringing this world to life. But check it out, man. You know, I definitely would say check it out, man. Especially Del Toro. He deserves a watch, man. You know, whatever he puts out, I think is worth people watching, you know. I do want to point out to anybody watching or listening, we do plan to still do our top 15 films of the year, which is our list. We each pick 5 films, 5 different films, so we can highlight as many as possible that had the most impact on us. Bobby Blockbuster, he's going to take a break and come hang with us again. So, you know, so you'll anybody that's been missing him, you know, you'll get a chance to check him out on that episode. And we're still trying to figure our list out. I think we put out a preliminary ones, but there are some things we still need to see, you know, by the time it gets to our recording time. So some of those things might get moved around.
It's a couple things I was like looking at everybody's list and I'm saying to myself, what the fuck?
Well, what part of it too was like, all right, he's probably going to pick that one, or he's, you know, but then, and I think y'all were probably thinking the same thing, which is why some of those got left off the list. So yeah, but yeah, we're going to try to definitely going to be some ones there that you expect to be, and definitely going to be some ones we think should get some attention that they haven't been getting, you know.